Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, thank you everyone for attending our webinar. My name is Sal Ayala. I'm CEO of Unico Media. I'm also a director with the California Hispanic Chambers of Commerce, the state chamber, as well as the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We put this together in connection with all of our chambers, and we're here to try to educate and help our community. So our objective is to educate, provide resources, exchange ideas, and provide solutions to business owners. So I encourage any feedback, please give us feedback on any information that you see relevant, that you would like to see on these webinars. They're here for you guys. Again, we want to educate, we want to provide resources, exchange ideas, and provide solutions. We're all in this together. And with that said, let's go over our coronavirus creed. We must not keep fishing in the same dry pond. We must not quit. We must reinvent ourselves. We must double down on marketing. And in good times, people want to advertise, and bad times, people have to. So that's our coronavirus creed. Let's go ahead and get started. Today's agenda is going to be, obviously, while we start things off with our good friend, Tammy from the Black Chamber of Commerce and Black-based health enthusiast. Next, we're going to have Humberto Correa, our CTO of Unico Biz. He's going to be talking about leveraging technology. Got some good ideas for you guys, good solutions that we put out there. In addition to that, we're going to have our good friend and client, John Cummings, our business owner highlight, talking a little bit about how this environment has affected him and what he's done to overcome objectives. Next, we're going to have our chamber highlight, Carla Silva. She's our director. She's a director with AME. She'll talk a little bit more about that organization. And next, after that, we're going to do our CARE Act update. Jor Paniagua, affiliate partner with Unico Biz. He's going to be giving our updates on that and additional resources for lending. Carmen Lainez is also going to be a part of that discussion. And we're going to end it with our tax update with Tony from Latino Tax Pro, who will be answering questions as well. So we hope this is informative for you, and let's get this show on the road. So first and foremost, Tammy with our health and wellness update.
Yes, thank you, Sal. Tammy, I am your IE Vegan Princess. I am also the president of the Black Chamber of Commerce. So we are definitely trying to promote not only just great health and wellness, but just great health and wellness of the business. And we need to get fired up and stay fired up. So thank you, Sal. So I just want to talk to you guys today about a little rehash of what we've been talking about, and then get into, thank you, Sal, for that slide, of what we're going to be talking about today, which is sleep. So what we've been talking about, just so people can get a little refresher, I first talked about how to maintain a routine, and then we talked about the perfect, or not the perfect diet, but monitoring your diet during this time. Then we went in to talk about exercise and social interaction and maintaining your mental health. And today, we're going to talk about sleep. Now, all of these things are not really separate issues. They're all combined. And so just adding sleep in, sleep is definitely a part of your health and wellness. And I'm just saying, I am not a doctor, but I do have studies. I do teach science. I am your IE vegan plant-based enthusiast. So my word to you is all about helping business owners thrive during this time. And we are so busy running businesses that we forget that in order to run your business and keep it viable, you have to be healthy. So which takes us into sleep. Sleep is one of those things that I sometimes struggle with. And I know, me talking about this is me working on my own progress and process. So we are so busy, and with the pandemic, we got so many things on our minds. Our cycles are so thrown off. We're trying to meet deadlines. We're trying to fill out this application, do this. We're worrying if we're going to get, if we're going to be able to put food on our family's table. So that can definitely mess around with our sleep. But today, just talking to you just about just the benefits of just getting sleep. And especially with dealing with this COVID-19. One of them is T-cell production. T-cell production is all about your white blood cells. And that are the cells that are there for your immune response. They're there to help you come back and fight against any type of foreign thing that hits your body. So if we're getting sleep, we're building that T-cell production, which we do need, because we don't want that virus to attack us. We want those fighters out there. And then the second thing, it builds the immune system time response. And that works in focusing on our 4 sleep cycles. We got to get into improving those 4 sleep cycles. Sometimes some of us just get light sleep. We don't get the deep sleep. We don't get the REM. So we need to be working on getting those 4 sleep cycles in, because I was looking at a study from the UC San Francisco. They said that poor sleep was the #1 factor in determining the health of our bodies and our immune response time. So we got to focus on that sleep. Now, I'm going to leave you guys today with 8 steps to getting good sleep during the pandemic, because I just want to tell you that the improving your immune system and increasing your T cells. But the first thing, I'm going to read off from my notes, 8 steps to get a good night's sleep during the pandemic. And I know a lot of you guys struggle. Okay, so the first thing is give yourself an electronic curfew of 90 minutes prior to lights off, because we have to get in our mindset, because some of us, like myself, sometimes we'll take that phone or we'll take it to the bed. We go, oh my God, I got to do the last email. I got to remember I have to text someone. No, give yourself about a 90-minute time to disconnect from that electronic. This means a media diet before bed. And I know that's strange for a lot of people. It says remove blue light by wearing blue light blocking glasses. It will help you wind down before bed and help your body produce melatonin on the proper schedule, because melatonin is what lets your body know that it's nighttime or it's time for you to rest. So we definitely want that melatonin. The second thing is to consider meditation or progressive relaxation before bed or while falling asleep. Consider meditation. What are you thankful for? Meditate on all the great things that are going on. Meditate on what your tomorrow is going to bring. Many of us, especially business owners, we do not take the time to meditate on the positive. We can say, oh yeah, I'm doing a great job. I'm doing a great job. Yes, but we need to meditate on why we're doing a great job. What was the purpose of what I wanted to do with my business? Is my business satisfying my customers? Yes, I'm making that happy and I'm making my family happy, and meditate on that. The third thing, compile a gratitude list in your mind. It says, while lying in bed in dark, many people think stressful thoughts as they fall asleep. Okay. And this, which makes it the first time all day that you get to think about yourself, right? So, but this causes increase in our fight or flight hormones. So thinking less stressful and positive thoughts can help reduce stressful feelings and help with sleep. So we definitely want that. And also we can have better dreams. Yes.
That's great.
Yes. And the fourth thing, and I'm going to speed it up, keep your schedule consistent. Don't try to change it. Tomorrow night you're going to bed at 2:00 and the one you're going to go to bed at 4. Okay. And avoid napping. If you want to sleep at 12:00, don't go to sleep. Just avoid napping and do that. Get real tired so you can go to sleep that night. 5, lower stimulants and depressants. Always say this, get off of the coffee, get off of the alcohol, get off of caffeine, get off of the little pills to put you to sleep, get off of the things to make you pop up. The first thing we want to grab in the morning is something to hype our nerves. And most of that stuff is acidic. And we think coffee is good for us, and it's not. I'm sorry. So we need to stay away from these stimulants, and we need to stay away from these depressants. No pill popping of anything to bring you up or to take you down. You know, everybody wants to wind down with wine. We want to wind down with alcohol. We need to stop using that to do that. The 16th, take a hot shower or bath 90 minutes before bed. 7, make sure that your environment is clean. Make sure that it is clean and you feel good. Okay. And then 8, consider a relaxing cup of some good herbal tea. Something that you know is going to be stimulating to your nerves, your digestive system, your respiratory system. And you guys can follow me on Get Raw with Tammy. And I give out these different herbs. Burdock tea is one that is really good. Really good soursop tea. I have a lot of ones on. Just follow me and you'll get that. But again, stay away from those high-powered caffeines and those depressants. No pill popping. So these are our ways that we can remain healthy and happy during COVID-19. And I hope that helps. And this is Tammy with Get Raw with Tammy, and see y'all next week.
Thank you so much, Tammy. That was great information. And I definitely have to work on that alcohol recommendation.
Yes.
All right, guys. So here we go. We're going to go on next to Mr. Humberto Correa. He's going to talk about leveraging technology and how we can take advantage of our technology at hand to increase our productivity. So Humberto, you're on, buddy. Thank you.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Thank you for your time. My name is Humberto. We actually came back to the office here at Brea in Orange County. We started conducting business again on Monday from the office. We're staggering the shift, and it's been the calendar's been loading up already for next week. So things are looking good. People are getting back. And but nevertheless, we got to think about online collaboration, think about why we need to put our business on the cloud and how do we do it without spending so much money. So the first thing that I want to cover today is, first of all, if we're not in the office, how do we have a server? How do we spend money on buying a server? Right now, we just quoted out companies that are buying these servers, $8,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. How are we going to buy a server if we're a small business and we don't have that type of investment? So what you do is you take a shortcut and you buy a service-based software and a server. It's real simple, people. Today, without knowing too much technology, without being an engineer or a guru, you could sign up for Office 365. Office 365 is an amazing product that has got everything in the box ready to go. There's 2 ways you can buy this piece of software. Office 365, if you look at the image, it includes your Outlook for your email. It includes your PowerPoint for your marketing presentations. It includes your Excel for your finances. It includes your Word to create your documents and templates, and it includes your OneNote. You could get all this. Not only that, but if you look at the graphic on the bottom, you have a laptop, you have a computer, you have a tablet, and you have a smartphone. Isn't it crazy how we have data in so many different places, and how do we put it all together? Real simple. Get Office 365. When you get Office 365, you can install it on all these 4 different devices. They give you 5 licenses for free. That means that you can install 1 license on each device, or if you're going to cheat the system, you could use 1 license per employee. And you didn't hear that from me, but 1 license of Office 365 can be shared among 5 employees. Yes, that could happen. Unfortunately, by taking that shortcut, it's not a good practice, because then people they can see each other's work. So, but if you do have a need, Office 365 will give you all these applications, and you can collaborate from all these different devices. So what does that give you? When you buy Office 365, you can collaborate internally with all your employees. You could collaborate with outdoor employees or contractors. You could also have OneDrive, and I think they give you, included with Office 365, 1 terabyte. That's about 1,000 gigabytes. There's no way, one person can probably hog that up unless you're really into digital graphics and video. So you get all that included. You also get SharePoint. That means you could share certain files with certain business partners, certain customers as well. And all this without buying a physical server that's going to cost you 10 grand, right? Now, there's two ways to buy this. You could buy it for $150 a year. You could buy it for $12.50 a month if you don't want to spend the cash. Okay, so you have either option. I recommend that you start with Business Premium Edition. There's so many different flavors out there. A lot of people say, oh, I'm just going to buy the $99 student version. Yes, but you're not on the cloud. You have to install it on your laptop, and now you can't see your data from your mobile phone. The software edition you want to go with for your business, ground level, is Business Premium Edition for $150 a year. It gives you your cloud office. It works with the smartphone, tablet, and laptop. And the best thing is if you open up Excel or Word online, you can collaborate and you can both edit the files at the same time between you and your team. So regarding this application, if you need help, we are here to help you. Biz Solutions can help you get the licensing software you need. We can also train you, help your employees, and we can deploy, get all your data off your hard drive, copy and paste it into the cloud. That way you're ready to collaborate from all your devices. We are available. My name is Humberto. I can help you with collaboration. If you are coming through this seminar session, I'd be more than happy to do a free session with you and just understand what your business needs are at no charge to evaluate your situation and help you and give you some CTO advice, some high-level management advice as how to organize your technology. So I do appreciate your time. I think we got one more slide. So cool. This is more geared for business customers that need a in-the-box solution. With the COVID-19 happen, we kind of glued everything together. I bought a lab. We have a laptop for an employee. We need a phone. We need the iPhone. And how do I glue all this together? We need Zoom. So what we did at Biz Solutions is we came up with Remote Office in a Box for business customers. So if you need a solution, a one-stop solution, you pay a monthly fee to Unico Biz Solutions, and we'll give you unlimited IT support. We'll give you the laptop. We'll give you the phone. We'll give you the application. We'll give you the Zoom integration. We'll give you cybersecurity. We'll give you your antivirus. We give you your encryption. We'll give you your VPN. All that bundled in with Office 365. You could get a turnkey solution with one phone call. You call us and we'll set you up with the Remote Office in a Box. It's a great solution. And on top of this, you get unlimited IT support for a fixed fee. So if anybody needs any help with setting up remote employees, you want to let us know. We're ready to go. We've got some great turnkey solutions for remote offices and Remote Office in a Box. So that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you so much, Humberto. Go ahead, Carmen.
Humberto, there was a question, is Office 365 better than G Suite?
They're both really good. The only issue with G Suite is when you have Excel documents, Word documents, they're not fully compatible with a lot of the business industry. The G Suite product is really under mature. When you go to Excel, when you go to Word, and you look at spell checkers, when you look at the advanced features, they're about the same price. But Office 365 really kicks butt when it comes to feature set. You can do a lot more features on Office 365, on Word, on Excel. And G Suite is okay. It'll get you through with the real basic spreadsheet. But if you're doing tabs and you're doing formulas and you're doing graphs, you really want to go with Office 365. They're both really good. G Suite is great. It'll give you your Google Drive and all that. But once again, the interface is harder to manage. The other thing you need to think about is if you go with G Suite and Google and you need to buy a server in the future, they don't have servers like Microsoft does. So what Microsoft does is they give you a server. You can buy a server. We can fully integrate it with security. And at that point, you make the right decision to go with the Microsoft channel. You could also go with Google. It's not bad. But once again, if you're planning on growing your infrastructure in the future, you don't want to go Google now. And then in the future, when you need your first server, oops, I now need to transfer everything from Google to Microsoft, and that becomes a very expensive project.
Okay. Yeah, we've been using that solution for the last 12 years, right? When they first started coming out with all these different solutions, and I did it because it was very scalable. So I'm a huge proponent of it. So I highly recommend it as well. So thank you so much, Humberto. Any other questions that have come up regarding our tech side? If not, we will move on to our next slide. All right. So next, I'm excited to introduce Carla Silva. She's a director with AME and also one of Unico's partners. And we're happy to have you come on, Carlita, as we know you. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about AME, and enlighten us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sal, for the invitation to speak about AME. My name is Carla Silva. I'm co-founder of the Alliance of Multicultural Entrepreneurs, for short AME. This is a networking group that started over 10 years ago. And it grew really organically. From the very first event, we had, a total, sold out event. So Mario Vitale, who's the president of the organization, he was part of other Latino groups. I was part of Hispanic Latino groups and also some of the board members. And we wanted to open up to other communities. So that's why we call it the Alliance of Multicultural Entrepreneurs. We wanted, people at our events to always meet new business owners and community leaders. So we made an effort to always, team up with different organizations. We signed MOUs with the Los Angeles Latino Chamber of Commerce, NLBWA, the Hispanic Business Network, also with the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce and other organizations. And, we not only, hosted the events, we went to, for instance, we also did events with KOTRA, that is the Korean Chamber of Commerce, and we hosted events in a Korean restaurant. And the same we did it with the Jewish Chamber of Commerce, Beverly Hills Chamber of Commerce. We actually have them come to downtown LA to one of our events, and at Don Chentes, where at that time they had a rooftop restaurant right across the LA Light. So we always did that effort, and during our events to add that cultural part, a piece. So we had artists, either artists, painters, or performers, either music, dance, just a short presentation to promote that cultural aspect, and also had the business side support. So we had a 10 to 15 minute presentation, something that it was relevant to the time, like we talk about taxes when it was tax season. And, but we, people that wanted to have a good time and network. So we did an effort really to introduce during the event to, our ambassadors. They were working hard during the event, making those introductions for businesses to grow and support each other. We were supposed to have an event on May 7th, in-person event. One of the venues where we hosted several events, the rooftop of the 1010 Wilshire, they call us, they say, we want to have your group come over. And we were planning to have that event, and then pandemic happened. And, instead of canceling it, we decided, why we don't do it virtual? And that's when I reached out to, Sal, and, knowing that he's been doing these webinars, he has a platform and all these services that offer to, business owners, that's, mainly the people that come to our events. And, here we are, Sal is super supportive, amazing, very professional team. We decided to adapt, and, we're teaming up to produce the next event. So we kept the date. So it's May 7th at 2:00. So this is a webinar with AME and, co-produced, with Unico Business Solutions. We're going to have great panelists, Marlene Marroquin from the U.S.-Mexico Chamber, Veronica Corona from the, she's a speaker, author, community leader, and also business owner. Claudia Shah, she's SBCD lead business advisor. As a moderator, we have Sara Mijares, who's a senior in, consultant with nonprofits, also the founder of Mundo Maya Foundation, and also the Angelina News, and Salayala. And we're going to be talking about opportunities during and, after COVID-19. So, hope that you join us. It's going to be a great event, and we'll be happy to meet you there.
Thank you so much, Carlita. And we will definitely share that link. We'll be sending it out to everybody on this call as well as our list so that you guys can attend. But as you can see, the website is there. We're also going to be streaming this on our YouTube channel. So if you guys want to go back and look at the information that is on this webinar, you will be able to do that. So thank you so much for taking the time, Carlita, and talking about this great organization that you guys started. And we'll continue to support you. Thank you so much. All right, up next, I'm excited to introduce our business owner highlight, Mr. John Cummings, the CEO and founder of ACS Factors. He's been a wonderful client of ours, and I can proudly say a friend of mine as well. Golfed and played soccer together. Not much of a golf or a soccer player myself, but he is. So John, please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your business.
Well, thank you, Sal. I appreciate it. And hello, everyone. As Sal said, I'm John Cummings with ACS Factors. ACS stands for Advanced Capital Solutions, and we kind of use that a little bit of a motto of advancing capital and providing solutions for small businesses. A little bit about factoring. It's involving the sale of your accounts receivable to take advantage of getting immediate influx of cash to your business rather than you waiting to get paid from your customers on those receivables. That's what the factoring process is and what a factoring company does. It helps small businesses bring cash into their businesses today rather than waiting 30 days to get paid. So I am addressing those businesses that are B2B relevant. At least that's how we're set up to work. The two things that I want to address, and I think all of us are really concerned about, are that affect small businesses, and that's going to be cash flow and risk. Right now, it's very uncertain where cash is coming from as it relates to your accounts receivable. Every morning, we are doing our own 9 o'clock team meeting. And again, I want to give a plug to Humberto and Sal. Sal hooked us up with Office 365 when we started using team meetings about 90 days ago, right before all of this hit. So we kind of had a little bit of preparation for the work at home situation. So we are going over our accounts receivable, our customers whose invoices we purchased, and we're looking over the 30-day bracket, the 45-day bracket, 60 and 90. We're figuring out where our risk of loss is. We want to make sure that if there are industries or types of businesses that are significantly going to be impacted by COVID, retailers, food places, hotels, places that are not as operational or completely shut down, their cash flow has stopped. I heard in the news, the Gap stopped paying rent on their stores. That's a major impact. So those types of things we all need to be concerned about and looking into, and we're doing that daily. We used to do that once a week. So that's one way that this has impacted us, is to not miss a beat as it relates to collecting our money, because our business, to be able to reinvest and purchase more invoices, do more financing for companies, is relying on collecting the money that we've already invested in purchasing invoices from other clients. So we got to keep that pool of money rolling ourselves. The risk of non-payment, again, that can be a hiccup. It could be catastrophic. I was checking credit on a very large company. It was publicly traded, so they had published financials for last year. And it was the first year that they had posted a significant impairment to their earnings for the year that they had to relate to their shareholders and the public. And that was their fifth largest company went belly up, filed bankruptcy on them. And that cost them $17 million to their bottom line. And that was a significant impact to that company's earnings for the year, which is going to affect their stock price and so forth, as well as getting credit in the market. Just think if that was their second or third customer. That might not have been a big impact to the bottom line. It may have been catastrophic to the point of putting them out of business. So monitoring those receivables, things are not the same. Your customers who paid you in 30 days or paid timely 6 months ago are struggling, and they're not the same customer they are today. So in the finance world, we have a little saying, KYC, know your customer. Who are they? What industry are they in? How is this impacting them? And how long is this going to impact them? We have been doing fine. We do a lot of business with trucking companies and transportation companies. They need cash flow to buy fuel every week. They're constantly burning through cash to run their business and operate it and keep it running smoothly. So we do a lot of factoring for freight bills, on freight bills for trucking companies. And one of the things we're seeing is, the first month, there was so much freight still being hauled to the stores for all the stores that were, people were going to the stores and hoarding all the toiletries and all those items, as we know. So there was still a lot of freight moving in. Well, that's kind of tapered off and it's kind of normalized. And we've seen about a 20% drop this month over last month from just freight revenue, which again converts into kind of gross national product type of things. Less freight means less product moving, which means less commerce. So that affects people all the way around. So we're very involved in watching that. Working with a factoring company like ACS helps and gives a business owner peace of mind. You can predict your cash flow better as a tool using factoring. You're able to say, this week we're billing $10,000 out. And if we factor this, we're going to get advanced 80 or 90% of that money on Friday if we have payroll to make and we have the money available to us to do that, versus I send this bill to my customer, they may pay me in 30, 45, 60, who knows, maybe 90 days. Built in with factoring, it's kind of complicated, but we have a system that we call non-recourse factoring, which means once we buy the invoice from you, your customer owes us the money and we take that credit risk. So there's kind of a built-in credit insurance with the factoring on a non-recourse factoring scenario, which means we're going to be doing the credit checking on your customers. We're going to be doing the background evaluations on their ongoing credit worthiness, collecting on those bills that you sold us. We take that burden off you. You've outsourced your accounts receivable and back office to ACS once you factor the invoice. It's not just cash. Cash flow is king. Cash is king, as they say. So it's great to have that money coming in on a timely basis and predicting when you're going to have it and use it to make payroll, pay your suppliers, pay your rents, versus waiting and hoping that the customers will pay. So that's kind of the benefit to small businesses for factoring. It keeps cash flow running. It takes the headache of collecting on invoices from the customers. The important thing is you have some group of good creditworthy customers to be able to be factorable. If your customers are all going 90 days and you want to bail out and try to collect on that money, that's maybe more something a collection agency can handle for you as opposed to a factoring company. The invoices have to be viable, good collectible receivables at the time that they're presented for factoring. Sally, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. It's been great, working with you for the last couple of years. Helps us with our marketing. We've kind of stepped up some of our marketing efforts as well. Like you say, if we don't advertise in this downturn economy, it's just going to hurt us and not help us come back out of this. We're suffering a little bit through the 20% downturn in business, and clients of ours, some of them may not make it through this, and we're going to have to replace those clients as well. And we feel bad about that, as for any business. But it does mean that it is important to keep your marketing efforts strong, robust, and full speed ahead.
Thank you so much, John. It's been, like I said, great working with you, and we appreciate all this information. I mean, it's kind of interesting to hear a different perspective, right? You don't think about all the truckers and how it affects the commerce and everything else. So, I mean, that was a great perspective that you brought over to us and helped us see as well. So, thank you so much, John, and we'll be in constant communication with you. So up next, go ahead. Okay, great.
So John, Humberto was asking if you collect 50% on a project and 50% upon completion, can you factor the 50% before the project is complete, or do you need the project 100% complete?
100% complete, because a receivable, the transaction becomes a receivable upon completion. You could pre-bill something, but a factoring company doesn't advance against the work that's still in process. So the invoice has to then be defined by work completed.
Okay, thank you so much, John.
Sure.
Great. So good question. Thank you so much. And we're going to go ahead and move on to our next panelist. Well, real quick before I do that, just want to acknowledge all of our chamber partners, the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Pomona Chamber of Commerce, Inland Empire Regional Chamber, the GRHCC. Special shout out because the chairman is also the president of the GRHCC. Black Chamber of Commerce, Tammy. World's Best Connectors as well. They're out of Arizona. High Desert. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Inland Empire Business Journal. AME, as you guys already got to meet Carlita. And then finally, Latino Tax Pro, another great partner of ours. So thank you all for participating. Okay, and here's up next we have George. He's our affiliate partner for our PPP program, CARE Act, and lending as a whole. And then our counsel, Carmen Lainez, are gonna give you guys a little bit of an update on what's up with the PPP program and the CARE Act.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sal, and good afternoon, everybody. Again, George Paniagua, Southland EDC, and we are just a little bit about us. We're a Certified Development Corporation, a nonprofit government chartered corporation that does SBA loans to businesses who are looking to buy commercial real estate, do construction of commercial real estate, or do expansion of commercial real estate, as well as large equipment purchases. So some of the things, I mean, from our perch, we work with all the banks nationwide, right? We work with the big guys, your Chases, your Wells, your B of A's, as well as your small community bank, community partners, non-bank lenders, and the such. So we're not processing the PPP directly, but we work with a lot of the lenders that are. And so we hear a little bit of what every lender is doing, okay? And that's kind of the perch where I come from. Which is, a little unique, because if you talk to a Chase banker, a Wells Fargo banker, they can tell you what's going on at that bank. Where you speak to a Certified Development Corporation, they have a little bit of an insight on what all the banks are doing, right? And so again, that's where the perch comes from. Now, the first bullet point is available funds. I just checked in this morning to see if funds are available, because it was, estimated that the funds would run out by Thursday. And, luckily they did not run out. They're still available, and there are still available funds. And not only did the second round of PPP not get fully used up yet, but there are a lot of Fortune 500 companies that are giving their money back, because they understand that wasn't the intention, not for them. It's for the small business owner, and not for the large, Ruth Chris, or the my favorite team, LA Lakers. They gave their $4 million back. So, it's not for those guys. It's for the small business community. And so a lot of them are giving back, which is replenishing the fund, right, for the second round. Now, when will that end? When will it be fully depleted? Nobody has that crystal ball, other than the people at SBA who are seeing the bank account drain, slowly. They can estimate it. But other than that, nobody does, right? So funds are still available. We urge that businesses still apply, and how long we don't know, but we do urge them to apply. Now, one of the more historic events may or may not happen here, but the organization which heads up 7A. So in SBA loans, there are two versions. There's a 7A and there's a 504. 504 is what I represent, and again, that's the real estate stuff mainly. And 7A is a lot of the working capital, a lot of the business acquisition, some real estate as well, but a lot of the other non-real estate lending goes through 7A. Now, when it comes to 7A, they are governed by an organization called NAGGL, right? NAGGL. And I completely forget always what the exact name of the acronym. It's a pretty long one, but it's like North American Government Guaranteed Lenders, I believe it's what it's called. And they're the trade organization that oversees the 7A program. Now, they came out with a press release basically saying that once the second round of PPP is over, once it's been depleted, they're going to shut down 7A lending as a whole, not just PPP, but as a whole, until July, right? Now, the update to that is that it doesn't seem that NAGGL and SBA are actually communicating well on that. So it's unknown whether that's going to happen. Before it was a for sure situation. Now we're not sure anymore, because some of the communication that we've received from SBA makes it seem like that's not correct. So we're not sure who's correct. We're not sure what's going to happen. Although If I was going to bet, I would bet that, yeah, it will probably shut down. However, that can change once Congress gets involved, and if they extend more funds to the program, then 7A will continue on, which every year the 7A program always runs into that situation where they're almost running out of funding after lending billions of dollars to businesses, and then more money gets extended out and the program continues. So will that happen in these circumstances? Who knows? Because in the very first round, 14 years of lending was done in 14 days. So will they extend more money into the program after what I just said, and then a second round of that happening? Again, don't know. We don't know, but it is something that can happen. Which, if it does happen, businesses of all kinds should be prepared for that, because at that point there will be no traditional working capital means through the SBA for a few months, until July. It will have to go conventional, or if you're buying real estate, you would go to the other SBA program, which is the 504 program that I represent, and you do your real estate there. So just a couple of heads up about, the funds are still available. Fortune 500 companies are being, good citizens and returning the money. And SBA shutdown for the 7A program is still looming. More to be seen on that, but it's still looming, and we're not sure exactly what will happen yet. But that's kind of the good and bad and ugly of the program and what's going on. So if you guys have any questions for me, feel free to route them over to Unico. I'm sure they'll have them for me, and I can answer, or I can answer any now. But that's pretty much where we are at with the PPP.
We have a question in regards to the Fortune 500 funds. So somebody wants to know that when those funds are returned, does it just go back to the general pool and distributed to the small business, or what's happening with that money? For example, the money that the Lakers returned.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good question, and it's an assumption on my end. It's not a factual base answer, but it is assumed that it goes back to the pool. No one's really, the SBA hasn't said really determined what happens to that money. However, it wouldn't make sense that they allocate billions of dollars for this purpose. They get some of it back and then they don't put it right back in. That wouldn't make any sense to me. So I would say that it makes way more sense that it goes back into the pool to be used up by the businesses.
Thank you. And I think we touched upon this. For the PPP loans, do 501c6 qualify? A lot of chambers and nonprofits are 501c6, not C3. Do they qualify for the PPP program?
Yeah, thank you for that question. And that's a good question. Unfortunately, C6s do not qualify. Unfortunately, it's the C3s that do. And again, it goes back to the activity level on a C3. The way it's printed, right? And in real life, always things are different, right, from what's printed. But what's printed is that a C3, their only activity is what the business activity that they do as a nonprofit. With a C6, they can venture out into many other types of activity that has nothing to do with their nonprofit. And that's a way that they generate income. And because of the two distinctions, they don't allow the C6s to collect on the PPP as it stands today.
Thank you, George. And since we have a lot of business owners, there are business owners that own their own property, so like their building. Is that something that you would be able to consult with them if they're having a hard time paying their mortgage? Is that something that you work with the business owners to do?
Yeah, so that's a good question. The 504, because it's real estate centric, we are able to refinance building notes. It can be that it's just a bad loan, right? And we can refinance that and put them into a better loan. Today's interest rate on a 25-year loan fixed for the full 25 years is 3.03, right? So if they have a 5%, which is still historically a pretty decent loan, we're getting you into a 3% loan, which is historically, never been seen, right? So we can look at that. Now, two things will happen. If those businesses are looking to consider that, I urge them to do it literally hang up and
yesterday.
I'll call Sal, get my information, and let me assist, because if you actually fund the loan between now and September 27th of 2020, SBA will pay your mortgage for the term of 6 months. If you do and you close your deal or your real estate loan after that, you're probably going to start making payments from day one. So you get a free 6-month mortgage and you don't have to pay it back. It's not a loan. It's just free money, basically. So I would urge people, for those reasons, because rates are low, and because SBA is going to pay, to consider the refinances right away.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And I think that would be helpful for a lot of business owners, especially those that own their property. I know that there's a few questions about the PPP loans not being funded. So George, what is your understanding as far as what percentage of the applications have been funded?
So there's no exact percentage. You're not releasing that information to us. But yeah, there are. I mean, see, the thing is, I've submitted multiple PPP loans on behalf of multiple clients to multiple banks, right? And in every single circumstance, I have, a portion of those clients who've already gotten funded, and I have a portion who are still waiting, right? Now, is it something that the client did incorrectly to fill out the form wrong? I don't know. Is it something that the bank did and didn't submit correctly? That could be the case as well. I don't know, but again, it has to be at the bank, right? And I'm not a bank, so I don't know what they did internally when it was submitted. But I mean, there are clients. One of my clients, he submitted on March 20th, I believe, and he got funded on April 27th. So it's a little bit over a month wait. So if you, as a business owner, submitted, a month ago, the money should be coming pretty soon. If it was only 2 or 3 weeks ago, you still have another 2 or 3 weeks to go, and that's when you can expect the money to come. If it is an actual month delay, right? Because we don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of lag with a lot of this, because the very first day, this past Monday, the very first day when the second tranche of PPP money rolled out, the SBA crashed. The website crashed. The whole thing crashed because there's so many people submitting. So to give you exact answers would be I'd be lying, right? I can only give you an assessment, but based on the assessment, I would say that it is about a month timeline from application approval to when you actually receive the money, or thereabouts.
And we recommend that if it's been that time frame, to either reach out to the lender or the bank. And I think you brought up a really good point about the banks, because some people don't have business accounts with certain banks, right? That doesn't mean you don't qualify. Like you were saying, you work with multiple banks, so you are able to get them the PPP loan or apply, even though they don't have a business account with that specific bank, correct?
Yeah, there's multiple banks out there that are able to apply for a customer, that even if they're not a customer to the bank. There's a lot of the big banks out there that only want to submit a loan for the PPP if you are an existing customer. If you're not an existing customer, you cannot apply with them. They won't allow that. Now, that is a definition, right? What is a definition of what are you an existing customer? There are calls that I've received from clients who went to their bank, and I won't name the bank, but they went to their bank thinking they're a customer because they've been banking there for 4 or 5 years, their bank business accounts. And lo and behold, they were turned away because they didn't have a credit card relationship with them, a business credit card relationship. So that bank specifically told them, you may have a depository relationship with us, but because you don't have a credit relationship with us, you're not considered a customer. And they turned them away. So, what is a customer? Every bank's going to have their own definition of that. But there are lenders out there, many lenders out there that they don't require you to be a customer. They'll submit that loan for you without you being a customer.
And it's been spoken about that sometimes it's better to apply through maybe credit unions, as one of our attendees is talking about, or smaller banks to get funded faster. Would you recommend that, or is there a difference?
There is a difference. For whatever reason it may be, it does seem like the smaller banks are a little bit more nimble at getting the loans in. It does seem to be that way. Maybe less onions to peel, right? Decisions can be made quicker or something. I have no idea what is the delay, because you would think that a larger bank has more staff, so why wouldn't it be faster there? But then again, checks and balances, right? With I forget what movie it comes from, but with more responsibility comes, or with more power comes with more responsibility, right? And so those bigger banks, they have to check and balance all kinds of things, and the smaller banks, they just make decisions on the spot and they can pull the trigger. So yeah, I would say the smaller bank is probably the better one.
So I have a question, George. So I've heard this from multiple people that what's the recommendation if people get antsy and they submitted the application to one bank and then they submit it to multiple banks? What are the consequences of doing that? Or are there any consequences, or should you be able to do that?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I just had a personal friend of mine, a attorney, call me, and he's been doing very well. He does personal injury cases, and he asked me, "Hey, I submitted to about 5 banks for the same PPP loan. Should I have done that, or what do you think?" And my advice to him was, no, you need to go to first. You need to go to your first bank you submitted, because they're the ones who probably put you at the front of the line compared to the other banks, and find out if it got approved or accepted, or find out what's going on there, right? If it got approved, then immediately go and cancel the other request, because SBA isn't going to give you, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 multiple times when you're only submitting it based on one payroll, right? Your one payroll that you have, and you can't double up. You can't double up on that. So no, you don't want to submit to multiple banks for the same. Now that said, if you're one business but you have multiple departments or multiple corporations underneath an umbrella, and each one has their own separate tax ID, and it's all one business, then yeah, you can submit for each separate entity, because each separate entity processes payroll separately. So think of it that way. If you're processing, say, payroll separately, then yes. If you're not, and it's all one company, one payroll, then you should be submitting for one PPP loan.
Very good. Any other questions? Any other panelists?
Yeah, Brenda Sutton wants to know if mom and pops can apply for PPP loans, and that's going to be a yes. So regardless of the size, as long as you're 500 employees or less, you're going to be able to apply for the PPP loan.
Correct, yeah.
Very good. Well, I know George is going to stay on until the end of the webinar. So if you guys come up with any other questions, feel free to put them on the chat, and we'll continue. So up next we have Tony Martinez. He's from Latino Tax Pro. He's going to give us a tax update and talk a little bit about the CARE Act. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah.
Welcome. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. How's it going? Good afternoon, everyone. So a few items that we're going to discuss. There's been some new guidance from the IRS regarding the expenses that you pay for with PPP money, right? If you get the PPP loan, and if the loan is forgiven, you're not able to deduct any of the expenses you paid for that loan. So for example, you got $20,000, you use the $20,000 for payroll. When you do your 2020 tax return, you're not able to deduct that payroll expense. At the same time, that debt that's forgiven, since the bank is, assuming the bank does forgive your $20,000, it's also not going to be included in income. So it's a net zero. It's gonna cancel out. But since you're not forced to include that forgiven debt and income, the expenses paid with that debt, let's assume it's payroll, you also cannot deduct them, right? That way there's no double dipping there. But I saw some pushback from some accountants, some clarification on that. So I'll be sure to stay on top of the news and give you an update. But that's one of the news pieces today regarding expenses paid with forgiven money. They're not going to be able to be deducted. Another thing to keep in mind is if you are or know anybody that gets the SSI, I think is that supplemental insurance or supplemental income, and or a VA, which is Veterans Affairs. If you're getting payments through those two programs, they're going to send you your economic impact payment directly to your account as you usually receive that money. But if you have dependents, and you usually don't file a tax return because you're just on SSI or VA benefits, you need to go into the IRS portal by May 5th, by Tuesday, and tell the IRS, hey, I do have some dependents. So since you're going to send me that money directly, send me $500 extra per each dependent under 17 that qualifies. And you need to go and submit what they call a simple tax return on the IRS portal. You could easily just do that just as a way to let the IRS know the status of your household, because they don't know if you have any dependents because you're not filing tax returns, right? You're usually just living on your SSI or VA benefits. So, and if you don't do it, if you forget to do it, then you're not going to get that extra money for the dependents in your household, but you could still get that money next year when you file a tax return, which is confusing because you usually don't file a tax return, right? That's why they don't have your information in the first place. But anyways, we'll give you more details. But the point is, if you are receiving SSI or VA benefits, you'll get your economic impact payment soon. But go to the IRS portal to let them know that you need more money because you have qualifying dependents. We've been getting some questions regarding the $600, the extra $600 unemployment income. If that's going to be taxable, if that's going to be added to California, since that's the money's coming from federal, people are asking, hey, do I need to report it on my California income tax return, Form 540 next year? And no, that money is not going to be included in income for federal or for California taxes. And then just final note, the IRS is saying they're aware that a few people or some people have not received their economic impact payment. So they are going to try to get that out as soon as possible. People are getting letters now, letters from the White House. That's what it's just basically giving them the status of their money, if they received it or if not received it. There's a couple of lawsuits happening too. There's some organization suing which is funny, the Trump administration or the government, I guess, because certain U.S. citizens are not receiving their economic impact payments because they're married to an ITIN holder. So the way the CARES Act is now, if you are a U.S. citizen but you're married and you file taxes jointly with an ITIN holder, usually they don't have a social, they're not here lawfully, they're not getting their money. So there's a lawsuit going that direction. There's another lawsuit going the other direction where a few individuals from Southern California are in a conservative organization. They're suing the state of California, or Gavin Newsom specifically, because Gavin Newsom signed an executive order looking to give millions of dollars to undocumented individuals starting May this month. So they're looking to stop that from happening. So just be aware of some lawsuits, and we'll let you know if that actually ends up leading to anything. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any tax questions.
Very good. What does it look like on that lawsuit from the Trump demanding economic payments to immigrants? Have they gained any ground on that?
No, I mean,
what is your prediction on that?
At the end of the day, Congress is the one that made that law, or they added the verbiage in there. So right now, how it works, usually you file taxes, right? Both spouses, if they have a social security number, they're going to get that economic impact payment for the household, which will be $2,400 for both individuals. The other situation is, say, one spouse has a social, the other has an ITIN. So a lot of people are thinking, all right, I understand if the ITIN doesn't get it, but the one of the spouses should get it because they're a citizen, right? And then so what happened, the way the law was written, just basic verbiage, right? It excluded the entire family from getting any money. So right now, the numbers read from the Migration Policy Institute. There is 1.2 million U.S. citizens that are married to an ITIN individual, and there's about 800,000 U.S. residents with socials that are also married to.
Almost 2 million.
So 2 million adults are not receiving their payments, and they're like, hey, especially the citizens, right? They're like, if my country's not going to help me during crisis, a world pandemic, then what country should I go to for help? So that's 2 million adults, but there's over 4 million U.S. citizen children that are actually citizens, but they're under 17, that they're also not getting the $500 that they qualify for. Because again, if one primary taxpayer has an ITIN, it disqualifies the whole family. So from reading the lawsuit, it's kind of, I'm not an attorney, so it sounds kind of funny because they're like suing the commissioner of the IRS and the Treasury Department and the Trump administration, but Congress obviously made the law. So it could be fixed if they just amend the verbiage and they just basically continue disallowing, or they can do whatever they want, but I think where they could find, they could agree on, even a few representatives that are Republicans. I saw a report, like one from Oregon was mentioning, hey, I understand if you exclude ITINs, they're not here lawfully, but let's do something about these citizens. So if they could agree on an amendment that basically says, hey, let's continue excluding ITINs, but if the tax return has social security numbers, let's release the money. They could do that, right? It's just verbiage that they add. The IRS has the data. It's just the law was written a certain way. So we'll see what happens. But it's interesting that I guess now, because in 2008, during the last economic stimulus payments, from what I understand, I haven't done research on this, but I've been hearing that certain families didn't get any money because of the same situation. But 10, 12 years later now, there's enough pushback, I guess, to raise some voice. And then I saw that Nancy Pelosi made a statement that saying the next stimulus package should include everybody residing, all taxpayers, as she said it, right? Even ITIN taxpayers. But yeah, it's just an ongoing battle. But my personal opinion is, like, if you exclude ITINs, that's fine, but like not U.S. citizens, especially the children, right? I mean, they're right. Citizens.
No fault of their own. They didn't choose to be in that situation. Very good. Well, thank you so much. And George, I think you have a question here. If you could speak a little bit on the economic disaster loan through the SBA, specifically the term for forgiveness repayments. Any changes on that?
Okay, so the EIDL loan, EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan, that one does not have the forgiveness platform on there. It's the PPP that has the forgiveness platform if 75% of your loan was used towards payroll, right? And payroll composes of many different aspects, not just who you pay an employee, but also, if you put money aside for their health benefits, vacation, things like that, and on that one, if you use 75% of that within the next 8 weeks of when you receive the money towards the payroll and those other outlying expenses that make up payroll, then your loan would be forgiven. Now, if it is not forgiven, then it goes on a 2-year term and it becomes a 1% interest rate charge, which, I did some quick calculations the other day, and it's going to be expensive. If you know of people who, or you yourself are a business owner who took that money, and let's say, for example, $100,000 loan, if it doesn't get forgiven at 1%, or actually at 0%, but you have to pay it off in 2 years, right? That becomes a $4,166 payment per month for 2 years. So it's going to be a giant check to write every single month, right? It's going to be pretty large. And that's only $100,000, and that's without 1% interest on top of that. So, so the thought is, okay, what do you do? What do you do if that happens to be you, right? Because, sometimes, the situation is where, okay, I can pay my employees, but then I can't buy any more product or any more anything else to sell because I have no more money after that, right? I don't have any more. So what's the use of me paying my employees if basically I'm going to close down? And so some people are going to need to use that money for other expenses other than employees, right? And it's not that they're choosing to do that; they have to stay open. So what I'm busy doing is I'm trying to coordinate with lenders who are looking to lend and finance, refinance those who have the PPP loans that turns into a term loan of 2 years at 1%. These giant, massive payments, and refinance them out of the PPP loan because, it would be a shame, right, that they made it this far. They socially isolated. They went through all that rigmarole that we all, have learned to love, and only to have to close down because now the PPP loan becomes too much of a burden to pay. Yeah, I mean it would just be terrible. So I am working to coordinate lenders on that, and more to come on that. But yeah, it's something that I don't know if it's 100,000 people or whether it's 100 million people or whatever it may be that will not get the loan forgiven. But there'll be a nice chunk of people that will not get that loan forgiven, and we need to be proactive on a solution for those folks.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to add, I think it's important for our attendees to know that if they did get the economic injury disaster loan and then are applying for the PPP loan, they can include that amount so then it can be forgivable. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the amount that is can be included, if you got an EIDL loan, they were doing a lot of like the advance, right, of $10,000, and then they switched it actually to $1,000 per employee up to $10,000, right? So it started off with an immediate advance of $10,000, and you qualified for that or not. And then they switched it to $1,000 per employee up to $10,000, right? And if that is part of your PPP loan, right, then yes, correct. Carmen is 100% right. That is part of your the money that goes into the PPP calculation, and that becomes forgivable. But for example, there are EIDL loans out there. The EIDL program went up to $10 million. The PPP loan goes up to $2 million. So the advance is the $10,000 that I was talking about, right? But if you are on an EIDL loan and you've got a sizable chunk of money, and it's not part of the PPP, calculation, then that becomes an actual loan. Now, they were more reasonable in that one because it's a 30-year amortization. And it's a 3.75% interest rate, which is all very, very, very reasonable, right? But yes, Carmen is 100% right. If your EIDL loan amount is part of the calculation of the PPP, and your PPP gets forgiven, then that EIDL amount got forgiven as well.
Got it. One question that they're asking here is the EIDL portal going to be reopened?
My understanding is that it should be reopened. So check it at all times because that right now has it crashed? Will it crash? Will it open or reopen? I mean, it's a little bit tossed up in the air, but yes.
Yeah, I haven't heard that it had closed. So okay, very good.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, so I think we've pretty much come to the end of our program. If anybody has any future questions or would like more resources, you can visit our website, and it'll be on the screen here, unicobiz.com/attackback. Or also, if you'd like to schedule a free consultation with George or anybody on the panel on any of the services that we talked about, please feel free to go to our website and request a consultation. And we'll be more than happy to set that up with any of the panelists. Just go to unicobiz.com and on anything, including marketing, including lending, including IT, whatever it may be, it's a free consultation or operational services with Carmen as well. So whatever you need, feel free to reach out to us and we will make sure we schedule that and connect you with the right resources that you need. Again, we're trying to provide education and resources to our community. So again, we want to be a source for that. And our next webinar is going to take place same time, same channel, same bat channel here at 1 o'clock next Friday. So feel free to tune in. Again, thank you so much. I hope you find 12
I think you
Did I
said
say
1
1
o'clock,
p.m.?
12 o'clock.
I'm sorry. You're right. 12 p.m. My apologies. 12
Tammy
p.m.
was freaking out.
Yeah, I saw Tammy throwing the signs at me.
There's actually a question for Tammy before we sign off.
Okay.
Tammy, you have a question from LA News. They asked that are essential oils with melatonin healthy to take before bed?
Well, I would like to see what's in the essential oils. Not all essential oils are created equal. So I saw that and I knew you was going to probably bring it up. I would need to see what's in the essential oils because I do look at what's naturally produced in the earth because there's a lot of things out there that are man-made. So if we're talking about whole body wellness, I would just say if I could take a look and see what's in the oils, but yeah, just know that melatonin is naturally produced in your body. So anything that would be added in is something synthetic or man-made, and that is something that I try to get people away from, and I do walk them through the process.
Thank you, Tammy. And can you tell all our attendees your website to just, with Get Raw with Tammy?
Okay, as I told Sal, well, my website is probably up. It's just getting a lot of work. It is Get Raw with Tammy, or they can follow me at Tammy Martin Riles or Get Raw with Tammy on any social media. So they can reach out to me there, even on the website. The website was just being redone. I think it's still posted while we're working on it. But yes, or they can call me at 714-292-0205.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. Thank you to all of our panelists and all of our attendees for taking the time off and joining us. I hope the information was to your liking and it was useful for you. So thank you so much and have a great rest of your Friday. Enjoy the beautiful weekend. It's not going to be too hot this weekend. So thank you so much. Have a great day. And we're signing off.